Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the Starscartel channel. If you don't know, I am Star. Y'all, I'm going to be 100% real and say that I had zero intentions of getting back on camera today. But God said now. And, yeah, the way he said that now, okay, it helps your girl to get on up, okay? And I was going to do a voiceover and do a little podcast. God said, no, ma'am, on camera now. Okay, so here we are, okay? So the message comes from this movie I was watching earlier. Now, I'm going to be real and say, I saw this movie on Prime and I started watching it and then I stopped because I saw the concept of it and I was like, I don't like how this is going. Okay. But God sent me back to the movie and I didn't finish the movie. So here we are. The movie is called Hump for Jesus. Okay. So I'm watching this movie and this movie is about a husband and wife. The husband is a pastor and the wife is in the position of the first lady. As I was watching the movie, I started to feel as though the husband was being persecuted. He was being sought after behind allegations that he had been having several different affairs on his wife with young women, very young women that were, I think they were college aged women. And, you know, regardless, he is assumably in his 30s, late 30s, early 40s in this movie. I just took note of several different things going on. For one, in reality, the wife was not exactly 100% at fault in this situation because it was her husband and he really disrespected her in the process of what he was doing. And you know, with the point that he disrespected her, it was embarrassing to her. It's kind of like he was forcing her to put on this happy face as if everything was okay and she was fine. And the church members were, you know, some of them were like, they were in the movie. It's kind of like they hired someone to follow them around to show what they do on their daily basis. But, you know, in reality, they were being very fake. And that's what the movie was foretelling, how fake they were being. And it was just kind of like the wife herself was feeling insecure. In order to keep herself happy, she would do certain things like go out and buy herself hats or go out and buy clothes, and she would do this, she would do that. And she was doing all of this in an attempt to cover up the pain that she had deep inside of her. Anytime that she wanted to speak, okay, when they were at church and she wanted to say what she had on her mind or how she felt, her husband would kind of downplay what she was saying. He was very narcissistic, okay? It's almost like he wanted to dim her light. And while all of this was going on, and you know, in reality, she was a victim per se to his actions, she stood by him, okay? And she stood by him at a time where I would believe God would be telling her this run, okay? And they were asking, like, during the movie, they were going around to different congregation members and asking them, are you leaving? Are you staying? Are you leaving? Are you staying? How do you feel? And when it came to it, they eventually got to a point to where they paid off the women that were making the allegations, and they decided to have a church service. And their church service was, for their reopening, was the same day as another couple's opening, okay? And what was interesting about that part is when they showed the other couple's service, the husband and the wife were together holding hands. They were together on stage speaking to the ministry. And it was kind of like, I just feel like it was more wholesome, you know. And in today's times, there is such an argument going on where there are so many male pastors and there are so many men that are saying that they don't like the fact that women are speaking in church, or that will try to downplay a woman's role, okay, as a pastor, as a prophet, as a priest, and just in general. And I feel like throughout the movie, her husband showed these values of the kind of man that's just like, I just want you to sit there and look pretty. And even so she had went and she spent like $1,300 on a little hat. Beautiful hat. Had like, I think she rhinestones or diamonds and silk or whatever it had. And he looked at the hat and told her, oh, that hat, you gonna make both of us look old. And I'm thinking to myself, who is he trying to look young for? Like, you married already, sir. You married already. Ain't nobody looking for you to be looking like you in your early 20s, like you still 18, 19 years. If you don't go sit down somewhere. And the hat was beautiful. And she looked beautiful. And if anybody was making them look old, it was him. And I just feel like it just the whole movie rubbed me the wrong way. And then it got to the end of the movie, and you know, they basically received their conviction for what the husband was doing. But because the wife decided to stand there in the midst of that storm with her husband and try to pretend, she was trying to smile and pretend, oh, everything is okay, everything is fine. No, those women, they're lying. They don't know what they're talking about. This. And I remember one of the congregation members, well, ex-congregation members that she spoke to, and she asked her if she was going to come to their reopening, and the woman explained to herself, and she said, well, I'm going to be honest. She said she worked as a counselor for one of the colleges nearby, and because of the fact that so many of the young women that he had did whatever to had been coming to her and talking to her about what was going on, she said it just would not look right for me to show up at that service. And it was just like, I'm just going to say that God had been showing her red flags throughout the entire thing. And throughout the movie, there are so many moments where it's just the camera pauses on her and she is looking at a distance, and you can see in her eyes that she's tired. You can see in her eyes that it's kind of like she doesn't know what to do. It's like kind of like something is missing from her. So the scripture comes from Daniel 8. After the first vision, I, Daniel, had another. In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar. In my vision, I saw myself in the fortress of Susa, in the province of Elam. I was beside the river Alay. I looked up and saw standing by the river a ram with 2 great horns, the one larger and the newer than the other. I saw the ram butting toward the west, north, and south. No beast could withstand it or be rescued from its power. It did what it pleased and became very powerful. As I was reflecting, a he-goat with a prominent horn on its forehead suddenly came from the west across the whole earth without touching the ground. It approached the 2-horned ram I had seen standing by the river and rushed toward it with savage force. I saw it attack the ram with furious blows when they met and break both its horns. It threw the ram, which had not the force to withstand it, to the ground and trampled upon it, and no one could rescue it from its power. Okay, so here's the message. In this movie, while this pastor was causing all of this destruction in his own church, like, that's really like he was causing his own church to have destruction, and he was causing all of this. He brought it upon himself. God brought up somebody else, okay, for that area to be able to take care of that area. And in reality, you know, it may be sad, like the situation about the wife and how she was attached to him. And it's just kind of like, in reality, she had a choice. And, you know, that's why I'm being reminded of the message that I got, I think, a few days ago. Okay? There are situations, there are times when your person accidentally does something. And it's a difference between somebody choosing to do something one time, it's an accident, they are sorry, they repent, and they never do it again. And somebody making a choice to do something over and over and over and over and over again, to such an extent. that it causes their own destruction and it causes their own doom. If God shows you the first time and that person doesn't apologize, that person doesn't admit their wrongdoings, that person continues again and again and again and again, mentally, it can, not only can it break you down mentally, not only can it, like, emotionally, and it's just like, I felt so bad for her. And that's what, some of the women were saying, that some of the women that were being asked, they were saying, I feel so sorry I feel so bad for her. And then some of them were like, she should be ashamed of herself because she is standing by him while she knows what he did. And I just feel like, while that is very sad, it is a very pity. But I feel like the message that God is trying to send to somebody, regardless if you are standing next to this person or if you listen to God and you leave, he is going to get to them. And if you don't want to listen to God when he tells you to leave, you are going to be attached to them when they are brought down. Okay? And that's that is the message. This is a whole Saul situation. Okay? This is God anointed and appointed somebody for something, and they decided to do something God did not ask them to do. They decided to go the other way. They decided to do their own thing. They ignored what God asked them to do. God said, okay, God is coming after them regardless if you want him to or not. And they're like, in reality, that, like, I just feel like that's what it is. And this is not a situation where you have to be running scared from this person. This is not a situation where you have to be mean to this person. This is not a situation where you have to be, it's not even that. It's just a situation to where they are hurting you. They are breaking your heart. They are causing you all of this turmoil. They're causing your life all of this stress. They are causing all of this anguish. Why? I just feel like God is saying you have been freed. Multiple times this person has went and freed you from this marriage. And I'm hearing God say bondage. But this, like in reality, if somebody is committing adultery, the other person, that is the end. They have already cut the cord of the covenant. It's done. And if you are seeing this person do this over and over and over again, they're putting themselves in God's wrath. And in some cases, in some situations, especially in this case, in situation where somebody was anointed, okay, God holds his anointed to a whole different standard. And if this person was anointed for something like this, anointed to be a pastor, anointed to be a priest, anointed to be a prophet, and they are behaving in this way, God said he is coming after them. And can't nobody stop him. You can pray for them. You can reach out. You can put your hands on them. You can pray for them. You can give them, you can send them all the love. You can send them all you want to. But in reality, can't nobody stop God when he get ready to do what he gonna do. And God said, he said what he said, and he feel how he feel. And that's the message, and in reality, like I said, if you decide, like, for whoever this is for, you have a choice. If you decide to stand by this person, you may very well end up feeling a part of God's wrath. And that is because in order for you to stand by this person, you will have to lie to people and tell them that it's not true. You will have to lie. God don't want us lying. And this is exactly what she was telling people. No, he would never do anything like that. No, that's not him. No, he wouldn't do that. No, they just making stuff up. No, they just trying to get money. No this, no that. And in reality, come on now. Let's go ahead and call a spade a spade. And that's just real. God is not going to allow somebody to speak for him and speak to his children and carry on a charade and a lie. And that is what they were trying to do, carry on a charade. They were trying to carry on and pretend like nothing happened. They were trying to carry on and act like everything was all good. And you know what I'm saying? I can understand how society can pressure you into feeling that way. Because sometimes people will try to make you feel like by you not doing what they want you to, you doing something wrong. You just so bad. You just so evil. I can't believe you would do something like that. And I can't, but nobody got anything to say about what he did, you know. And I like, you know, and that's kind of how she was feeling, you know. She was kind of in this position where everybody that's working with them are kind of like, okay, well, you know, what you gonna do? How you, like, you know, how you feel about it? What you gonna do? Like, even in that situation, it's just kind of like, you cannot, I don't know how to say it. You cannot work for God and lie. It's just like, just being real. You cannot work for God and then sit and lie to God's children. You cannot work for God and then try to make up stories and try to make up for, well, I know my person, they keep doing bad things, but they really a good person. They keep hurting me and they keep throwing daggers in my back, but I promise you, they really not like that. They don't usually do that. They're not usually trying to seek out to hurt me. They do it every day, but I promise you, they not really trying to hurt me. No. God said he is not going to stand for that, okay? And in reality, at the end of the movie where they showed the other church and they showed how that husband and wife came together, and it's just kind of like, it was more so what, I just feel like, I don't even know how to explain it. And I only watched this movie once, y'all, because in reality, like I said, at first when I started watching, I was like, I'm not feeling this. But at the end, when they showed how it was at the other church, I don't know how to explain it, but it just felt genuine. It felt real. Versus how they were, it's kind of like they were sitting around and they were practicing a speech. And, you know, he was practicing and he kept practicing and he kept practicing. And, you know, he just kept, I don't know, it's kind of like they went back and forth between completely being focused on God and doing their own thing and kind of doing what they wanted to do. And I don't know. And one other thing I didn't like is that they were so, at the beginning, they kept talking about, like, he kept saying that just because he had certain kinds of clothes and he had a certain kind of car and he had a certain kind of house, that he just got, you should go ahead and give money to me, because if you give money to me, you gonna have this kind of things too. And it's just the whole persona and the whole vibe and the whole everything that was going on. You know, I'm not coming on here saying that it's bad for anybody to give to the church, because it's nothing wrong with that. You know, God loves a cheerful giver. But I do feel like it is not right to come on and tell somebody that if you give me money, then you are going to have a nice car. That's not right, okay? I can pray for you. I can pray that God will bless you with a nice car. I can sit down with you and we can come up with a plan on how you going to get that car. You know what I'm saying? I pray over every single donation that I receive, but I'm not finna sit on here and say, if you give me $5, I guarantee you God is gonna bless you with a car tomorrow. Like, I'm not gonna do that. And God is saying that he is just not going to deal with that. He is not going to tolerate anybody doing anything like that. And he's also not going to tolerate anybody standing in front of his congregation and lying to them. God is not going to tolerate anybody pretending or faking the funk, or, you know, like, in reality, like just how I said at the beginning of this video, I was done for the day, but God said, I want you to make this video now. And what did I do? I got up. My hair is hanging off of my head right now. Like, my little hair wrap is about to fall off. I am, like, I didn't eat. I'm tired. Okay, Loki was about to go to sleep. Okay, and God said, get up, and I got up. Okay. And it's just not, and it's not even to say that you got to have that kind of umph and you got to have that kind of dedication, but at the same time, why wouldn't you want to? How hard is it to be so dedicated to God that you would never cheat on your wife because your wife is a blessing from God? Okay, how hard is it to be so dedicated to God that you would never take advantage of your congregation because God blessed you to have a congregation in the first place? How hard would it be if God has blessed? Like, I just feel like it was just such a sad case and a sad just sad all around. And I don't know who this message is for. I don't know who this message is about. I'm not trying to come on here and take shots at nobody, okay? I am being very, 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 very obedient with God. And what God sent me to say is that there is somebody that may be wondering this thing, regardless if somebody is wondering why God led me to separate from my ex, or if somebody is wondering what, like, whatever it is like that. I just feel like God is saying that there are certain things that he will not allow his pastors to do. There are certain things that he will not allow his pastors to condone. That it would be wrong for me to come up on here talking about adultery is wrong, meanwhile I'm accepting it. Okay, that would be, what is it called? A hypocrite. I would be a hypocrite. I would be considered a hypocrite. And in reality, I don't deserve that kind of treatment. And I'm just simply not going to condone anybody that thinks that I do. Okay, and I don't have time for it. I don't have time, and I don't have the energy. And in reality, God asked me to do this, okay? And I have to give God my all, because he gives me his everything. And I know God got me. I know God is going to continue to bless me. I know God is going to continue to push me forward. I know where my blessings come from. I know where my hope comes from. I know why I have a reason to say that I have faith that God got me. I have faith that God is going to make a way out of no way for me. And yeah, that's just me being real. And I just feel like God is saying that he would prefer for somebody to just come out and tell the truth, even if the truth is embarrassing, even if the truth hurts a little bit, even if the truth makes you feel ashamed. And I feel like that was a battle that she was going through. Like, the battle in between, if she pretends as though he didn't do any of those things and he would never do anything like that, he has me and look at me, I'm so attractive that he would never, and ... and you lying. And those women were abused. They were taken advantage of. And like several women taken advantage of, and she's pretending as though it did not happen. How is that right? How is that right? How is that in the right? How is that in the right? It's not. Period. And even as a first lady, 9 out of 10, a lot of first ladies are pastors themselves. So how is it right for her, as her life is dedicated to God as well, to accept that her husband did that? She have a feeling, she know, okay, 9 out of 10, she know, okay, and she's just gonna sit there and tell the congregation, no, he didn't do that, y'all don't know what y'all talking about, everybody is crazy, they just making stuff up, they just want money, they just want this, they just that, they that. Versus coming forward and telling the truth. And it's not even it's not always about you personally, because I feel like in this movie it wasn't just specifically about her, even though that's what she was thinking about her and her husband. But in reality, it wasn't even just about her. What about the victims? What about their peace? They gotta go and get therapy now because of what happened to them. And instead of them receiving the peace and the justice that they deserve, they are being treated as though what they said was a lie. It's getting hushed up with money and covered up and swept under the floor. That's not fair to them. And that's not right. And God said if he ever sees anything like this going on in his kingdom, he himself will tear it down. That's the message. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe.